Well, good morning, everyone. It is April 5th, 2025. How is everyone doing this morning? Let's see here. We've got to get the guys on. Let's see here. Bear with me, everyone. Trying to find Alex, if you're seeing this, I am having some trouble trying to see you on here. Let's see. Bear with me, everybody. We're trying some new technology, and for some reason I cannot seem to find Alex in here. Bear with me, everybody. Alex, if you're seeing this, I'm not able to send you an invite because I'm not seeing. Oh, wait, there are. Hold on. There we go. Okay, I think I got it, Alex. All right, good morning. Sorry about that. Just trying to get things figured out here. Let's see. Well, we have Karen Nurnberger here. Good morning, Karen. We have TKHRL Girl here. Good morning. Well, good morning, Alex. Oh my gosh, it must be Saturday.
Must be.
Oh my goodness. Wow, look at you.
Good morning.
You look fantastic. My good, you look really sharp.
Hello, world.
Wow, I didn't expect that this morning.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, let me see. I think we've got, hold on, let me see if I can get James in here. All right, there we go. So let's see who we've got here. We have, excuse me, Carrie Ellen's here. Wendy's here. Good morning, Wendy. Chuck GR4. Good morning. We have Dana Mackey's here. Good morning, Dana. PJ Party is here. I'm glad you're here. Where in SoCal, Los Angeles, PJ Party, in the belly of the beast. Gator 1187 is here. Christy B, 1 subscribers is here. Dana Mackey. Dana Mackey says you look handsome, Alex.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Our Jeff Coates here. Hey, our Jeff Coates, glad you can make it. Share baby, one of our subscribers. Susie Kabloozy is here. Oh my goodness. Oh, thanks, Wendy, my camera. I always forget that. Isn't that crazy? There we go. All right. Hey, James, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Dave is in the chat also.
Oh, is he? Okay, hold on. Let me see what. Can you get him?
Go ahead.
Okay. Amber's here over on YouTube. Good morning, Amy. So, Jason Coons is here. Oh, PJ Party's in Thousand Oaks. Oh, very close. Send me a message, PJ Party. We can talk offline. Let's see here. All right, gentlemen. So, good morning, Dave.
Good morning, guys. Alex, what's...
I know, right?
He cleans up.
He does clean up very well. I was shocked, pleasantly surprised. Wow.
I got attacked by a trimmer. It's just, it wouldn't stop.
Well, you're so handsome. You shouldn't be hiding it with all that facial hair. You look great.
Alex said, I can feel your lips when you kiss me.
Oh, how sweet.
TMI.
James, it was your photo that inspired me, man. I can't have all you clean-shaven guys around me all the time.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's see. So we have this here from North Dakota. Spirit Rider is here from Hemet, California. Another fellow Californian. Joy is here. Good morning, Joy. Mama Bear's here as well. So tell me, Alex, what do you see going on this morning? Anything significant we need to do?
I mean, we've got the the usual debacle of let's see here. The S&P 500, obviously the indices are all closed, but closed at 322 down yesterday. The Dow closed down 2,200. NASDAQ closed down 962. Gold holding steady at $3,060 an ounce. Oil $62 a barrel.
62. Wow. So on the stock market, that's about a 10% drop, right? Over the last week?
We're looking at 5% drop.
5%. Okay.
Yeah. So, and the other news I thought was worth mentioning on the accountability train, the head of the NSA has been let go.
Mm-hmm. I personally think that the NSA was rolled into Space Force quite some time ago, but optically, it looks like they're releasing more information.
Yeah, that and there were some videos floating around amongst us, you know, and the hidden wealth watch on the debt clock. So if you look at the DeFi banking future, which was an interesting one, someone had posted the video. So the description for that is immense savings from the elimination of the fractional reserve banking system. But the source for these numbers and information is labeled, Federal Reserve.
Unless the Federal has been merged with the Department of Treasury.
But USDebt.org. Who is that? Where does this information come from? What is it about? Right. So that's my only devil's advocate here is what behind the debtclock.org.
Right. Well, I've heard that debt clock are located in Arizona in close proximity to the Space Force. I know whether that's true or not. I couldn't tell you. Interesting times.
I know an IT guy that might dig into the who is and the registration of and see what information.
There we go. All right. So, go ahead.
One other topic for those that have been following vault.fbi.gov. There have been some really interesting things posted over the last. Richard Pryor, information on him. William Casey. So those of you that like to nerd out on documents and go check some things out, if you do a search for operation and see what documents come up under operation, pretty interesting stuff, folks.
Interesting. Thanks for the tip, Alex. All right, so we have Donna Fox, one of our subscribers, is here. Good morning. Terry Dykus, a subscriber, is here. Good morning. Mad Mac Bean is here. We have, boy, this chat's blowing up here. Let me see here. Christy B, thank you for the tiny dinies. Bill Gore, thank you for the gifts. It's appreciated. Let's see. We have Susie said, what site, Alex?
Vault.fbi.gov. And on the right-hand side, there is a recently added tab that will show you what's been added in the last, right now it goes back to April 1st. But you can do a search Vault and you can have a blast. There is so much information getting dumped. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible,
to say the least. Scratch 65 is subscribers here. Good morning, Scratch. So James, how about let's do a little update on military movement, if there is any?
Yeah, I think I sent Alex appetizer yesterday after his display of his fine victuals. I don't know how that went for you, but it was the Yemenis were having a little get together in a circle, and they were taking a briefing on their next steps in the military. And well, we dropped something on them that there was no more to that.
Let's just say the meeting went up in smoke.
So to give kind of people a background on what's happening over in that region, and military, they don't like to release numbers usually any closer than 4 months, and this is kind of closer than that. But
No, what region are we talking?
the Yemenis region.
Okay.
So as of January 5th, which was a little less than 4 months ago, there had been 931 American and British airstrikes, resulting in 106 deaths and 314 injuries. You have to take in mind, though, we have an ally over there that we don't always keep track of what their hits are, but you have to think about too how big the Yemenis military is, and they only have 40,000 soldiers compared to the United States. Just in our army alone, we have 450,000. So, I mean, we are by far and away the number one army in the world, and that's based on 145 countries.
Wow.
A lot of power. And while I'm here, I might as well say it. We have 318,000 Air Force, 170,000 Marines, 8,800 Space Force, and the Coast Guard makes up 44,500, 7,000 in reserve.
Well, I didn't know the Coast Guard was that big. Wow.
Oh yeah, they go top all the way around.
Wow.
And for those that are interested in seeing the new F-47, it was announced that it will debut at the Fort Worth Air Show this summer.
Oh, nice. Maybe you could find a picture of that, Alex, and bring it up.
I think we should be there for that.
So, yeah, wouldn't that be nice? B. Bethany is here. Good morning. Anna is here as well. Wendy, thank you for all the gifts. And B. Bethany. Chuck Humphrey's here. Hey, Chuck, glad you could make it this morning. Good morning, Charlie. So we have Raising Boys 17 here as well. Good morning, Raising Boys. So, Dave, what do you see happening this morning? What's the latest?
On everything that's happened, or that what James was talking about was entertaining. I posted on Facebook and stuff like that, on FB. I'm sorry. But yeah, it doesn't mean there ain't more stuff coming down the tube here.
Yeah.
Excited to see what happens.
Exactly. There is so much happening every day, all day. It just blows my mind. I mean, I could literally do, for those that are new here, I do a daily dispatch, which is kind of a bullet point presentation of the news. And I literally could do a 15 or 20 minute bullet point, but I have to pick and choose because I try to keep it between 4 and 6 minutes. But there is rapid fire, narrative after narrative, story after story, and it's just mind blowing to me. Gail,
Yeah, it isn't things anymore. They're starting to get bigger. And bigger.
Exactly. And one of those big things that I find interesting is Sean Combs, Diddy, hit with a new federal, and we're talking about racketeering. Now, everybody's complaining, why aren't the lists being released? Well, if it's a RICO case or racketeering, there are so many different tentacles in how different grand juries, how many different investigations. That takes time. I just don't see that being something that rolls out quickly. Alex, what do you think?
I just have to be patient. Another useless fact, tidbit of information. So TDS originates from a psychologist, Charles Kruthammer, psychiatrist, who first coined the phrase Bush derangement syndrome in 2003.
I didn't know that.
So RICO cases, indictments, they take months and months and months because you have to compile the information. District attorneys, attorney generals, they want to make sure that if they're going to spend the time to go put it in front of a judge, that it is a slam dunk, closed book case, right? That includes getting experts. That includes gathering information, documents, subpoena, phone records, records. Like these things take time. Bongino said it. Just because you don't see it happening doesn't mean that it's not.
Right. Dana Mackey said booms times 4. And you're right, Dana. We're talking about President Trump yesterday coming out and saying boom 4 times in one interview. If we look over at that other board that we follow, it just happened to line up with a certain delta. Does that mean we're going to be seeing some significant moves? I don't know. I mean, I don't usually date fag because nobody knows, but I find it interesting. Thanks for bringing that up, Dana. So in terms of countries capitulating to President Trump and the new tariffs, Vietnam that we talked about yesterday coming to the table and saying, okay, we give up. And then we have also Argentina, Javier Milei, which doesn't surprise me at all. But I find it interesting that we have 2 major countries that have capitulated in the very, in the last couple of days. So what are your thoughts on it?
As we're going forward, and I think Canada's in on this too. They're talking 0 for 0. Mexico 0 for 0. I see some legislation that's been put forth that they're trying to block the Canadian trade deal or tariff deal. Go forward, I think you're going to see a lot more countries jump on board. And we've touched on this pretty much every day since the announcement of this. I think the missing out, because there is going to be a big ride coming. In such a short time, we've acted $7 trillion, and that's just the beginning.
Right, I agree, David.
Yeah, I laughed at it. Trump said, like we said yesterday, I hate to be the last person on board to this because
Right.
you're going to be missing a lot. So that should be a warning across the board. There's no doubt about that.
Right. And what's interesting too, in terms of President Trump and how he negotiates, when he negotiated real estate, he wanted to take over a whole block, say in Manhattan. Just go in and say, hey, I want to buy your building, right? What he would do is create offshore LLCs, buy them individually from different corporations that he owned, because by that last one is going, if it's Trump at that time, the price would go through the roof. So I think it's the same concept with what he's doing with the tariffs. Alex, what are your thoughts on that?
Same thing. These things take time, right? The man is a chess player, and some of the greatest chess players in the world can think, 25 moves ahead of what the current board is. Now that's not just where I'm going to move my pieces. That is, okay, if I move this piece, they'll move that piece. If I move this piece, they'll move that piece. And if they move that piece, then I'm going to move this piece, or I could move this piece. I mean, it's huge what's happening. I think that the tariffs are doing a lot of things. China's economy has been in trouble for a while.
How many trillions of won have they pumped in the last year?
And they are extremely dependent on us using Temu and TikTok Shop and all of these exports that they were hoping was going to dig them out of the hole that they're in. And so when you look at this faceted side of things, it's not just about building business in America. It's making sure that the dollar remains the world reserve currency, because the dollar is really weak. And I don't think people really don't understand. We were standing on the edge of a cliff into the abyss. We were this close, right? And what has happened is that chess move is we're jumping off of the cliff versus being pushed off the cliff. And we've got the parachute and the landing zone. Everything's already planned out and laying waste to other economies, making trade equitable across the world, and at the same time building up manufacturing in the States so that we can compete in the world market. Folks, we have destroyed America's capacity to produce. And until we start becoming a producing nation again, we're doomed to fail, right? And I think, again, multifaceted, the tariffs are doing many things for us. Yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, prices are going to go up. Yes, stores are going to have trouble getting things maybe for a while, but not one single country has said, "Oh, we're not gonna capitulate." They've all said, "Okay,
Right.
okay, like you win. We'll play here now," because they have to.
Yeah, and it's also too, when we talked about yesterday, these large corporations have committed to large capital investments in America. Well, that doesn't happen in a 60-day period. It began years ago, in my opinion. It's rolling out now, and it's this manufacturing. Yeah, it's going to hurt for a little while. I think the manufacturing is way far ahead than what we had led to believe in the last 60 days. There are already factories being built. There are already factories being retrofitted. You have companies that already have factories here increasing their production in those facilities because of these tariffs.
Well, Pansy 1962, it's the U.S. corporations that decided to manufacture abroad. That's not a country's fault. So you're right. It's not the country's
Yeah, but who owns the
fault.
corporations?
It's not the corporation's fault. It's the fault of the people that are making decisions in our government to tax the living shit out of them so they afford to do business here.
Right.
And other countries were smart and said, "Oh, well, if you build your factory here, we'll give you some tax exemptions. We'll give you some tax breaks, some incentives to plant to Mexico, because it was cheaper to make the car in Mexico for labor, for taxes, for all those purposes, and then ship it to the United States." It was all by design, and it's been the systematic destruction of what we call America for 100 years, 1913, folks.
And also, along those same lines, Alex, the large corporations that have moved offshore, they are controlled by the one percenters. They're controlled by this. They sit on the board of directors. They make the decisions on where they're steering that ship. So you're absolutely right. Now that we're seeing this review of what's really going on in terms of tariffs, in terms of who's pulling what strings, it's going faster than it would have had President Trump not been in office 8 years ago.
I'm talking about the difference between a Model A Ford with a 4-cylinder engine and Elon Musk's new Falcon X rocket. Freaking cruising, dude.
Exactly.
That's what you're talking about, Lex, and talking about China and talking about the position they're in, their country's in, and how they're actually in worse shape than we are. So maybe it's not going to be that. I was thinking about the deal that Trump signed with grain to buy so much. It wasn't long, 3 months, I think. Then China says, "Oh, okay, maybe buy this amount of grain from you guys."
Right.
So, and China's in worse shape than it was, 8 years ago or 9 years ago.
Right.
So it may be a hurdle to get over here, and we'll see how fast it turns.
Exactly. So Chris Romano is here. Good morning, Chris. Chuck Humphrey, thank you for Tiny Dinies. Oh, and everybody, we are doing a Tiny Diny daily goal today if you want to contribute to that. The beach chair, thank you for the corn. It is appreciated. Dana Mackey said that they purposely gutted the automotive industry. That's very true. What were you going to say, Alex?
Someone just posted TKHRURL. Is that why they are helping Russia? They who? Because we certainly aren't helping Russia. The previous administration helped Russia, and Russia would not have been able to afford to go into Ukraine had we not stopped production of energy and entered Russia's ability to sell energy, because selling Russia's energy is what has paid for the Ukraine war on that side. So I'm confused as to who you're saying who helped.
Right, exactly. Hey, Captain Graybeard's here. I hope you're feeling better, Captain. Just like Beth Dutton, glad you could make it. Paco said, is SpaceX built 100% in the USA? I don't hear to that. What do you guys think? Maybe you could pull it up, Alex. I'm not really sure.
I think given the production of electronics, I think it's impossible for anything to be 100% USA right now. So I believe that the majority of the rocket systems are assembled and built USA. I don't see them building rockets somewhere else and the transportation costs to bring. I mean, that's part of the reason that he has designed the systems to be able to recapture the craft and the beautiful folks. They just reach out and hug it, so that they don't have to build a new time. We're reusing. So I would say 100% probably not. Someone else said electric cars are good. I never thought electric cars were bad. I think that freedom of choice and the ability, if an electric is something that you like and enjoy and find, economical for your situation. I personally don't want an electric car. The cost of batteries to replace after a relatively short amount of outweighs my decision to buy one. I'm still driving a 1982 Chevy.
Yeah. Well, and I think, there's...
I'll take it off your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll sell it to you.
Exactly. And the other thing too is I think electric cars make sense in the future when we have different power sources. But in the meantime, until we have Tesla energy or anti-rabitic technology or, something, those little nuclear eggs you were showing, Alex. And the other thing too, with those large batteries, that I don't like the EMF, the electromagnetic frequencies that they emit. They have been shown to play havoc with the circadian rhythms of the human. So I think that's something I would be careful of. But again, most of the electricity that's generated is coming from petrol fuel. So it doesn't really make sense. You're not saving the environment by buying an electric car. Now, that may change in the near future. I hope it will when we have different alternate power sources. But at this point, if you like it, use it. I mean, that's the enterprise and free market's all about. The things that people like are going to sell.
There's something that needs to be said about this though too. The very party that pushed for electrical everything, whether it be cars and tools, yard tools, those are the same people that are going out and destroying Tesla vehicles.
Right.
That's the first part. And the same party that pushed for global warming are actually making holes big enough in the ground to increase the Earth's core.
Right. Yeah. I mean, anyway. U.S. Christie 1974 said, I bought a self-charging hybrid. Those seem to make sense to me. The ones that have a gas motor, charge the electric battery as you're going. That makes sense to me. I don't know about the EMFs on those, but I like that. Rick said, a 72 Blazer. I love it. Good morning, D. So let's jump over to... Oh, all right. Let's talk a little bit about President Trump going after Jerome Powell and saying, you need to cut the interest, right? Jerome Powell coming back and essentially poo-pooing it away. Well, this is all interrelated in terms of the tariffs, in terms of driving the down. We have to refinance trillions of dollars of debt this year. And when those rates go down, we're going to be able to refinance them at a fraction of what were before. So that's part of this. But I find it interesting that Powell is just, as President Trump put it, playing politics. I think there's much more going on behind the scenes there than most people realize. What do you think, Alan?
I think that's 100% accurate. The way that we move forward, we can't keep doing the same thing the same way and expect to end up in a better place. And so, again, ripping the Band-Aid off and getting the economy roaring again is the only way that we change it.
Well, and about doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. What's even more insane is doing the same over and over again, knowing you're going to get the same result and still doing it. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a different aspect. So, fraud, fighting the inner deal, cut that. And now he's got to worry about interest rate tariffs on top of it. It's a multi-factor. He's coming from many directions to attack this. And that's what it takes, because it's a beast.
Absolutely.
Well, not only will the United States be able to negotiate rates on debt, so will we. So we can renegotiate our car loans. We can renegotiate our home loans. Look at what the rates have done now. And again, historically, if you go back to the 80s, rates on houses were 12, 13, 15%, right? So is our 6, 7, 8%, is it bad? Yeah, it's bad. It hurts. You're going to spend as much on a $400,000 house as you would on a $200,000 house 10 years ago. That $200,000 house is now, the house payment is the same as if you had a $400,000 house 10 years ago. So getting us back to interest, 1, 2, 3%. What each of you have to ask yourself, what would you do with an extra $600, $700, $800 a month in your pocket? Well, that's a car payment. Like that's maybe a vacation family. Break that down. What does an extra $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a year pocket equate to? Like, what would you do with that money? That's where this is going. Is it going to hurt in the short term? Yes, it is, undoubtedly. But it's the long-term game, folks.
Right. And also, yeah, it's going to hurt in the short term, but because of the tariffs, crude oil has dropped, what, how many points, Alex? It's gone down to $10 a barrel. That's a significant drop.
Reagan said the Fed isn't cutting the rates. He already stated that cutting it now will lead to a faster crash. The tariffs and what happened has strategically put the Fed in a place he's not going to have any other choice. And he made that before the tariffs went into effect. The administration has cornered them. They're not going to have any choice.
Right. Scratch 65 subscriber said Fed rate may cut may help cushion the impacts of the tariffs. Well, I think you're right also, but I also think that there's a much longer play here. We have a lot of debt that has to be refinanced. We have a lot of expenditures. I mean, what do we spend, Alex? I think it's $1 trillion in interest per every 90 days now for the national debt, or something like that, right? Yeah. That's a significant $1 trillion they're just throwing up on interest.
Well, the whole system is designed that way.
Right.
The Federal Reserve fractional bank is designed for me to sit down at the computer as a Fed and go, hey, guess what? You owe me more interest. Here's you owe me more interest. That's never. We're indebted to forever, and that's what's got to change.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And think about. I think like the Doge. I think that money when they roll it out, or if they roll it out, I guess. I think that's to help economy when that rolls out too. That 5,000 to 8,000 they're talking now and stuff like that. But the minimal tariffs is where I get it at. Like I thought you say reciprocal. Well, a lot of his upper end tariffs don't match. I think he's stuck his a little bit just to protect it to roll into it.
And everybody talking about how President pro-Israel and he's a closet Zionist. Well, it's interesting that he hit Israel. Even they said they would capitulate. He still hit them with a 17% tariff. Interesting number. So I don't believe for a second that President Trump is blinded by Israel. Now, speaking of President Trump, he just extended the TikTok deadline yesterday by another, 75 days or something, Dave? You had sent me that?
75 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, again, I think it's already happened in the background, but optically, we got another 75 days of no TikTok. There's a lot of people that are grateful for that. TikTok is, whether you like TikTok or not, TikTok is useful. Information gets out. Almost half the population of the United States of America is on TikTok. That is to be reckoned with. And in my opinion, needs to stay in. James?
Well, it's interesting. There's so many mechanisms comes to TikTok, and there was no way when they said it was coming down to Saturday, or when I believe today was that day, there were working mechanisms that they couldn't get it ironed out. And the one toenail that was stuck way out in the air was the algorithm. Whether or not they could get the algorithm bought and go with the platform, they just couldn't get it done. And in truth be known, I don't think 75 more days is going to be enough to get that algorithm either bought or do.
Right. Well, again, I think there's much more going on behind the scenes, just like with BlackRock. I don't think BlackRock is what to be. I think it's in favor of the Patriots now, but optically, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
And even being, they have offers from Rasnick out in Wyoming on, you have people gunning to purchase, but it comes right down to it. Hasn't said, or ByteDance hasn't said they're going to go with any one of them. I don't think they have that worked out either.
Right. DNB06 and Chuck Humphrey, thank you for the tiny dinies. Yesterday, President Trump suspended Princeton's dozens of research grants. Is this part of what's going on with academia? President Trump seizing these endowments? Did they violate Executive Orders 138 or 13848? How much of that money has already been confiscated, bought back? I mean, on the debt clock, we have, what is it called? Hidden wealth, Alex, on the debt clock? And what is that number up to now? It's like 100 some odd trillion.
I got so many freaking windows open right now.
I'm sure you do.
Where to go? Here, I'll just pull it up again.
So I think 170 trillion.
Which number?
The hidden wealth at the bottom.
Hidden wealth at the bottom. Precious metal reserves is at 1,276,100,000 and counting. Internal mineral reserves are at 6 trillion. Real estate is at 74. Lands at 24. Stock market is at 50. Recaptured assets at 7 billion. Total hidden wealth 168
trillion.
Trillion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
trillion. Wealth per citizen today is up to $494,936.
So
$500,000 per citizen. What would we each do with $500,000?
Exactly. And where did that hidden wealth come from? Did it come from the Vatican? Did it come London? Did it come from 13818 and 13848 going after the illicit funds? Well, I can't answer that question for sure, but it sure seems to make sense when you're talking $170 trillion. That is a huge number. And this thing that President Trump is doing with academia, I think, is an indication of that.
Well, Sam, there is something that and that number in the personal wealth is going up because I screenshot the debt clock yesterday, and Dave and I compared yesterday's numbers to today, and it is in fact going up by the day.
Which one's going up, James?
The net wealth in the bottom right-hand corner of the debt clock.
Okay.
I had a screenshot from yesterday, and Dave and I talked this morning, and I gave him yesterday's number, and he gave me today's number. We are going up for sure.
Wow.
Every day.
Excellent. All right, let me break here, guys. We have, let me thank our sponsors. MyPillow has been sponsoring me from the beginning, is doing his best to fight for America. If you can help him, you help them, you help Mike Lindell, you help America. Go to mypillow.com, use the discount code SAM, and you'll get up to 80% off of all of this. And also we have Neil Natural, the only 100% chemical-free, 100% organic hair care products on the market today. Dr. Neil has been a friend of mine for years. Launched this company several years ago. If you go to shalhoub.com, click on the hair products button, it'll take you to his website. Use the code SAM20, that's SAM20, and you'll get 20% off of your purchases. And then finally, Dr. Peter Glidden has been on the show many times. He is a licensed naturopathic doctor who's been in clinical practice for over 35 years. He has two buttons on my website, samshalhoub.com. The first button will take you to his website where you can ask him any question when it comes to health and wellness, and he'll give you a homeopathic or a natural solution for whatever's ailing you. And then there's another button. He's just a new book, and if you go to that button on my website, you'll get a 10% discount. So thank you to My Pillow, thank you to Neil Naturopathic, and thank you to.
Can I take just a second? There's this narrative that has been pushed. He doesn't care about the military. He doesn't care about veterans. So let's take just he signed VA Accountability Act into law promising better health care for veterans. He files 500 feds under Trump, even for the files for more than 5 feds under Trump to cover new accountability law for veterans. VA expands telehealth access. Trump's forever GI bill boosting student aid and vets. Trump signs bill and streamline VA disability claims and appeals process. Telemedicine for veterans. May creates task force to address mortgage refinancing issues for veterans. VA announces Veterans Coordinated Access Renewing Experience Act. VA seeks partnership to build health care facilities. Enhancing Care Act. Trump signs VA Mission Act. So stop with the bullshit about he doesn't care about the military. Stop watching mainstream media that's pushing the same narrative that's bullshit.
Exactly.
Well, I can tell you from a veteran standpoint, since March of '91, the veteran benefits and the broad shoulders of what's happened with our care, you can't even compare it. Back from '91 to now, it's kind of goes versus handwritten notes. I mean, it's crazy how good they have treated us. They're not perfect. I don't think any place is perfect, but I'll tell you what, I would rather be a veteran today than '91.
Right, exactly, and that's coming from a veteran. And again, James Service.
You're welcome.
Share Baby 29, a subscriber said, "Go, Alex, go, give it to him." I agree.
I'm tired of this narrative. Oh, he spent money playing golf. Okay, question for you. For those of you on the other side, honest question. Tell Biden or Obama administration did for veterans. How much did Biden spend to eat ice cream on the 4 freaking years?
Right.
How many times did he sit in front of a group of reporters and answer questions? Trump has done it more in the first 100 days than Biden did in 4 years. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
When what you're being told.
Look at the enlistment since Trump has become
Right.
president. That tells you right there.
Look at the mass exodus under Biden. That tells you right there.
Right. Lisa Maria, a subscriber, said, "Say it louder, Alex." Scratch 65, a subscriber, said, "None of the veterans are complaining that I'm including myself. Thank you for your service, Scratch." Share Baby 29, same thing. There is so much. Oh, Kim 55 is here as well. Kim B 55. Me too. These liberals be crazy. Lisa Maria said, "Say it louder, Al." Are Young, thank you for the gifts. But yeah, there's DNB06 just became a monthly subscriber. Thank you, DNB. I'm glad you did that. Being part of our inner circle.
See what happens when Alex gets a haircut and remains calm on a Friday?
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
Okay.
He is on top of it.
Everybody, it's on.
Exactly. Foxy Trot USA said, "I told my kids during this term they could not enlist until track." Exactly. And, I just see a surgence of patriotism in America. I think it's just phenomenal. People are, other than the left and the people that are so brainwashed they don't understand it, I'd say 75% of the population behind President Trump. That's what we voted for. That's what he's doing. It happened. And yeah, there's going to be a little bit of short-term pain, but the long-term game is going to blow people's minds. All right, let's see what we got next year. Oh, this one's going to be good. So we've had a lot of discussions on our lives and on the Daily Dispatch about, and before, if you're new here on TikTok, hit the follow button. I do a Daily Dispatch every day. It's a bullet point presentation of the news. If you are new here, hit that follow button and you can follow along daily. So, what is this, Alex?
That is a map of all of the counties in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that it's pretty clear that the majority of the counties voted red.
Exactly.
This is a map showing who voted for Trump in the 24 election. Overwhelmingly, this country has come out in force and said the way that we've been doing things 100 years ain't working.
Right.
And what this man has promised to do and is showing us by putting tariffs, by putting this country first, by putting you left first in economic policy, the change is coming.
Right.
You can't. It's not hyperbole. And every one of those counties, the people that are in them, fascists. They're not Nazis. They're not anti-Semites. They're red-blooded American farming, just salted earth good people that have said, you know what we've been doing isn't working.
Right.
And so we need something different. The left-right paradigm, the red-blue paradigm. Trump was a Democrat for most of his.
Right.
But changed to a conservative and went to Republican so that he could get and be able to run. The man didn't need the position. He didn't need the fame. He didn't need the money. He was living a great life ahead of that, right? But maybe he wanted it for all those red counties, for his children, for his grandchildren, for your children, for their grandchildren. So in 10 years, let's look and see if these tariffs worked.
Dave to the right said, I literally watched him sit on a flight for 14 hours to go with fallen soldiers. That speaks volumes in and of itself. Lisa Maria sending, who's a subscriber, Kim 55 sending hearts because they agree with us. Scratch 65 a subscriber, thumbs up, absolutely. Share Baby 29 a subscriber said, but they will scream, that's fake, it's made up, it's a lie. No, people, it's 100% truth. And I'm here in the belly of the beast in Los Angeles, California, and by and far, 8 out of 10 people that I talk to or meet or have any kind of discussion with are Trump supporters here in California, in Los Angeles. 8 people. That tells you something significant.
One of the hidden messages that a lot of people overlook was the United Auto Workers was present on the last lot when we had the signing with President Trump the other day. The United Auto Workers are predominantly Democrat, and look who was standing on the White House in the garden to see that signing. They all got red hats, and they probably all got pens. But that's a huge message. Change is possible.
Right. Exactly. So let's move into the next story. What we're talking about is Nicole Shanahan, who was RFK Jr.'s roommate, said that RFK and HHS is putting together a team to investigate chemtrails. And then right on the heels of Florida announced that they passed an SB 56, which would bar geoengineering and weather modification activities in the state. Now, I've seen, in fact, Alex watched on this one.
I think that as we continue down the road of transparency and the receipts are brought forward, that bill's paid.
Right, exactly. And let's not forget, let's look at Florida. They've passed legislation to ban that type of activity. Florida has been on the cutting edge of eliminating property tax. Florida, a free state. I think that they are using Florida as a prototypical example of what's going to be happening throughout the United States. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on board with that. There's more than one state. I think I looked into it the other day. There was 13 or 15 states that didn't tax that, and I think we're going to move forward with that in more than one system. I think the VA is moving forward with no taxation up to 100,000 on property, and vehicle tax to be zero is zero now if you're 100% or better. So there's a lot of momentum.
Right.
Well, and just, again, put your tinfoil hats on, folks. If you were talking about this stuff 5, 10, 15 years ago, you were a lunatic. You're crazy. There's no chemtrails. I don't know what you're talking about. So those of you that don't think that there's chemtrails, go to Google and type in cloud seeding company. They're a company advertising that they are seeding clouds, right? Which is chemtrails. They're putting chemicals and things into the air, which causes condensation to create clouds. It's rained in Abu Dhabi, folks, in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Operation Skywatch.
Is that what it's called, James?
Yeah,
That's one of them.
Yeah, one of many. They're going after the pilots, the scientists, the elite financiers, and they're going to be with zero immunity.
Yeah. Dave, what are you seeing out there in Iowa?
It's usually every 2 to 3 days prior to a big storm or a storm that they're calling, you can start seeing the seeding and stuff.
What that stuff out there, Dave? Does it affect your crops in any way that you can tell?
So with aluminum and the other the metals that they're using, yes, it's damaging the ground, and that's something with natural microbes that you bend and allow them to eat and produce food for the crops. So it is damaging the ground.
Yeah, and isn't there?
Yep.
Didn't you say that you were that somebody was teaching you how to manage that better or something?
Yeah, I had to talk to you about bringing him on. He's an ex-UFC fighter that's into that stuff now, and I talked to him about doing it if we're interested. But he's very well versed in that, and last year was our first heavy year of trying that on property and trying to get away from the oil-based stuff and nitrogen and all that on it. Just doing some trials, so we're supposed to be doing another big one this year.
Okay.
So
is he in the chat today, you mean, or just in the future?
he's probably not in the chat today. I'm not sure if he's TikTok or not. So
Yeah, bring him on if you want. And also, too, everybody, we are going to be, Alex and I are working on some new technology for the show. And I just went and got some more equipment yesterday, and Alex and I are going to buckle down today and work on it. But there will be an opportunity in the near future. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but we have to have everybody on TikTok in order to have them on the show. Is that correct?
Correct. We'll be able to send a link to someone and bring them in, and it will be simulcast across all platforms. And for those of you that there was a documentary put out back in 2012, I think, called "What in the World Are They Spraying?" They look at the soil and the contaminants in the soil on the island of Hawaii. Okay, so that is such a separate place from in the United States, and they look at the soil composition over years and the metals over years and the effect on the natural rainforests that have on the island. I mean, this is nothing. And again, the fact that we have somebody stepping forward who is putting together a group of people in all of our lives that are saying enough is enough. Enough jacking with our food, enough jacking with our military, enough jacking with our dollars. Like, we are in unprecedented waters right now. It's great. Quite frankly, the greatest it's ever been.
Exactly.
The one thing that's often overlooked is this is affecting our greatest resource, and our greatest resource is water. And if rain rinses that stuff into the ground and then it goes into an aquifer or into our table, we're going to be using it. And the problem is, yeah, it can be diluted, but it's still there quite some time, even though it's diluted.
Right. Right.
But
And-
that's why they keep spraying it, so it's never cure itself. It's never going to dilute if they keep putting it on.
And that's something Dr. Mike, God rest his soul, used to talk about, was the contamination of the groundwater, specifically in relation to pharmaceuticals. There's so many people taking pharmaceuticals and then peeing it out or whatever, it gets into the groundwater. And I personally believe that's partly why we've had such a rise in America on mental health issues, because drinking the air that we're breathing is toxic. It's got I would highly suggest you get a water filter for your drinking water. I personally use a couple different ones. I have a Big Berkey. I also use Clearly Filtered, and they both remove up 99.9% of all the contaminants, including fluoride. And I think that's really important. So yesterday, guys, we had, excuse me, over $3 trillion wiped out from the U.S. stock market. But over 5 billion was added to the crypto market. And to the best of my knowledge, decoupling that took place yesterday is the first time where we've had a single day where Bitcoin has performed up while NASDAQ was down over 5%. That is a significant move when it comes to the monetary system. Alex, will you expound upon it?
Same thing with gold. Gold, while it dipped just a little bit, we're up. Like, we're so up. Like, just look at over the course. Yes, gold dropped $76 yesterday. Okay, so it dropped $76 yesterday. But for a month, it's up $117, even after dropping some yesterday. Same thing with Bitcoin. It's remaining steady. It's holding, because both of those places, we know gold is a store of wealth. It's a place for money, like property. It fluctuates some, but over the long term, it's always going to go up. And people starting to see that crypto is a store of wealth. It's a place for money long term. 2013, $100. 2025, $80,000.
Yep. It's a huge.
In my opinion, silver and XRP seem to be a huge go after right now in my mind.
And I wouldn't disagree with that. And we've talked about this on the show before. The manipulation of precious metals all began, and I forget which year, not even going to say a year, when they allowed gold and silver futures, which is
76, I think.
Yeah, it was just after they took us off the gold and silver standard in the early 70s.
And so that gives, let's say JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo decide on a call between the two of them, hey, I've got this for gold. Hey, I want to buy it. Okay. They billions of dollars back and forth between the two only moves the prices of gold. Same thing with the stock market, folks. It's the same thing. Insider trading. Well, is it insider trading, or is it, policies, and is it we're going to pass this law and, oh, wait, Pelosi just bought this stock, and then all of a sudden that stock went through the roof, or wait a minute, this senator sold a bunch of stock and 2 days later it went through the floor. Like, it's a rigged game. But if you've got gold in your hand, there's nothing rigged about that.
Well, you can play like the big boys too and get autopilot. So when they do make their trade, you can mirror or emulate their trade too. It's called autopilot.
Yes, sir.
I'm not doing that, just so you know.
Financial advice. My stock shop.
Right. Exactly. Well, I think we are moving into a brave new world, gentlemen. I think there are so many things happening every day, and I, for one, am excited to see it. Let's get some final thoughts going here. James?
Oh, I want to go last today.
Okay. Dave?
That's my spot.
I'll go. I love it when my phone beeps and let the boys find this time. I'm excited to jump in.
Yeah.
It's hard at night getting a good night's rest. You're like, oh, what am I doing right now? Because he's up.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's fun. and it's all right for sure.
Amen. James, you ready now, or you want to go for last?
Yeah,
slide?
I can go.
Okay.
Well, I've been kind of reluctant to put my picture up. I ended up going to a gentleman or a farmer-related party, and I bet a gentleman with their wager on the table, and I bet the gentleman that he didn't know what the round object at the top of the flagpole was called. And
shit, I don't know what that's called.
well, this is a military thing.
Okay.
On the top of the flagpole, there's a round object called the truck. And the truck is said to hold three things: a razor blade, a 45 shell, and a match. And it has to do with combat. If you're the last man standing, you're supposed to take the razor blade, cut the stripes out of the flag, take the match and burn it. Burn the flag after you have cut it up. And you're supposed to use the 45 shell against yourself as a soldier, so you don't give the enemy the luxury of taking out your life. You can take it before him.
Wow.
And this is kind of a bad thing for me to have, but the wager was, I bet him that name it, and he did, because his son graduated basic training and told him about it. The unfortunate part was Alex isn't the only one that got it, and it was my eyebrow.
Oh no, you got to show us that, James.
No.
Come on, dude. You can't come out with a story like that and then not show us.
You got a black magic marker.
Well, I was going to use some tile tape and put some V's up there, like maybe the little shape of the Bitcoin or the XRP. But I just can't. I'm not going out until they grow back.
Oh, come on, dude. Are you serious?
Maybe later.
All right, everybody in the chat. If you want to see James without his eyebrows, put a 1. If you don't want to see, put a 2. We want to see it 2. We don't.
Even better.
One.
Hold on. Even better than voting ones in the chat. See how many coins we can get him up to. If you can get him to 1,000 coins on his screen, you don't have a choice, sir.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's only fair.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I haven't seen one number 2. There is number 2.
There's 2 chili peppers.
Here we go, James. It's coming, brother. Got to get up to 1,000.
Don't do it.
It's gonna happen, dude.
I know. We can't have that.
Oh my gosh! Come on, James.
Oh, look at the coins. Oh, brother, it's got to happen. 200 and counting.
Don't let him buy it, folks.
Somebody drop a galaxy on his head.
I feel like the naked cat.
Oh, come on, man.
Talking about the veterans. So my uncle, who is 85 years old, was a Marine. Is a Marine, right? He never stopped being one. My father was a Marine. I signed up for the Marine in 91 and was going to ship out, but flipped a motorcycle and shattered 3 vertebrae in my back. My nephew has done, I think he did 8 years in the Army. And when he comes back, he brings me the challenge coins and leaves them combat training coins. He was over in Korea, and so though I serve, we have a long line. And my grandfather, my uncle, my uncle is probably my biggest hero in my life, and to get a constant stream information from someone who has that historical knowledge is really a blessing. To be able to have the conversations with him about how things used to, how they have been, and where he thinks they're going based off of he's seeing is an invaluable asset to me, to have perspective on what the world is like, what it looks like, what's going on, where it's at. And with regards to the military and those that have fought and died for this country, they've given the ultimate sacrifice. And I've lost friends. I mean, we're talking going back to 9/11. I've lost friends every single engagement from Desert Storm on. We have the veterans. They're the ones who make the ultimate sacrifice. The families that support sending their children off to fight in combat situations that maybe we shouldn't have been in the first place. Be the first to admit that, right? The war machine that has perpetuated so much death and carnage going back to World War I and on, and maybe the reasons that we even got into some of these conflicts weren't on the up and up. I really think current administration, when he shot on the number of deaths that are happening overseas between Russia and Ukraine right now, I think he really gets it. I really think he gets it. Like it's not about side or that side. It's about human life, right? And so to all of the people that have served and the veterans that have put their life into the veterans that have made those sacrifices, I am forever grateful and appreciative. And you know, we're heading into the times of the year that we think about those people with Memorial Day and 4th of July and all those things. And so, you know, the fact that we get on these platforms and have disagreements, whether we agree or not, we owe those people the honor and respect for their sacrifice. We can even have these stupid arguments over things that don't really matter.
Amen. Very well stated. So I had to bring in the big gun today, Jen, because we're trying to get James to show us his eyebrows that have been shaved. So we've had everybody, if we get to 1,000 coins for James, he's got to show us. So I had to bring you in to drop the hammer.
Listen, if he's shaving his eyebrow,
He already did. He lost a bet.
So you won't show them?
Yeah, he's pushing back.
We're
Listen,
600
I'll shave my
points
eye
away.
right now in front of everybody. I will shave them right up.
Oh,
Yeah.
800. We're 200.
If you show your eyebrows, I will shave my eyebrows off right now.
Oh my God! How can you not do it, James?
Well, you know,
James, I will shave my eyebrows.
Oh, and there it is. There's a big one. All right, James, you got to show us now.
Boom, buddy.
Come on, dude. Let's see it.
I don't know who did that, but I'm coming after you.
Let me just go ahead and turn that camera on for you.
Let's see it, James.
Oh God!
Come on. You have to do it now.
Oh, I think there's something else. Man.
Come on. Show it up.
There's enough freaks in
Pony up.
You better screenshot this.
Come on. Pony up, James.
There you go.
I'm not seeing it.
I can't see you.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a sec. What's going on here?
Oh, come on, James Bull.
Wait.
I'm trying to get it done here.
Are you
All right.
trying to draw them on? What are you trying to do?
He's got electrical tape out.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it shaved?
Yes, it's shaved. You can't see that?
Oh, my goodness. There we go. Way to pony up.
I had to do that in front of 60 drunk people last night. And it wasn't fun. You know, somebody called me this morning and said, "Hey, could you go to Walmart and pick up some stuff for me?" I'm like, "No."
Dude, you manned up and you brought it to the table.
Let me just say this, James. Let me just say this, brother. The fact that you were man enough to honor your word on a bet.
Okay, well.
You honored your side of the bet. That's integrity, sir.
Yep.
That's integrity.
65 said you win some and you lose some, James.
That's right.
Well, I mean, that's bad. You know how long I got to hide out? I might only have food for 8 days.
Do we need to start taking up donations to send?
Well, the sticks. like 5 miles from town, and there's no DoorDash, there's no Uber Eats, and I don't know, but I think if I had enough food for the last 8 days, in the space people can go for, $276. I think I'll be all right.
Good.
Get some aviators.
Man, I'm glad you ponied up, James. Good job. All right, everybody. So let's wind this up. Let's get final thoughts. Jen, will you go first?
Final thoughts? I don't know what to say after that. Look, my final
Oh,
thoughts.
no, wait.
What?
Let's go back to, you said that if you turned the camera on, you'd shave yours.
Oh, I'll shave my eyebrows off. My eyebrows are tattooed on.
Oh.
That's cheating.
Then you got to do the eyelashes.
No, not the eyelashes.
Look, it's easy for women because I can just go buy fake ones in the store.
Oh.
Nails, it's all fake.
Alex, remember that show where those guys took that hair and they glued it to the guy's upper mustache? What was that? It turned out to be hair from other parts of bodies.
Yeah.
You remember what that was?
Yes.
I'm not going there. I'm not going to do that.
Nana says you look fine, James.
I'm sure we'll be willing to donate. You messaged me. I had 9 inches of hair I could have donated to the cause.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't look like Chewbacca anymore. Thank God. Nice and cut, man.
Exactly. All right, Jen, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Your eyebrows look amazing, by the way. I don't know. I just came in here. I don't know what my final thought would be. Skip me. I got things.
Okay, Dave.
Ready for an exciting weekend and an exciting next week. Trump sleeps 4 hours a night, so golf today, but tomorrow's going to be a whole other day to get going. So
Exactly, James.
Well, we've got a lot going forward. Today is kind of a walk there. Stay vigilant. We're supposed to be having a nationwide protest, so be aware where you put yourself at.
Yeah, very wise choice. Very wise words. Alex?
Well, I just want all my fellow Americans to know that James is a man of integrity. He will keep Anthony one of the greatest veterans and patriots that we've ever seen in this country. We appreciate James and your missing eyebrows.
Oh, that's great.
Did you actually screenshot that?
Quite frankly,
Oh, yeah, dude, over the internet now.
It's going down forever in history.
We are shotgunning that all over the internet.
You heathen.
All right, everybody. Well, that's it for today. We are going to sign off. We'll be back on Monday. Oh, and I want to remind everybody, next week, we'll be doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. Tuesday and Thursday will be at noon Pacific. We're going to try some different time slots. So hope you can join us. Thank you, everybody. Gifts. Thank you for the participation. Jen? Oh, I thought you didn't want it.
No. I just want to say, everybody, just be kind to one another because you do not know what somebody else is going through out there in the world. Really don't. And most people are not going to come out and talk about what they are going through. They walk out of the house with a smile on their face. And just be kind to one another. And it doesn't matter what you are, what party you're in. It doesn't matter. We're all human. We're all going through things in our life, and just be kind.
Very well stated. Very well stated. So
one other thing, in the event for some reason that we have technical difficulty or something like that, you guys, maybe, and this will ever happen, but if it did happen for some reason, we can go live on mine or James' whatever. So make sure you're following everybody in the group because one of us will end up going live. But I look forward to the new technology and the ability for us to do some new cool stuff.
yeah, I'm looking for it as well. All right, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Jen, James, and of course, Alex.